In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that not everyone in this world has had the same opportunities and advantages that you've had. He didn't say much more, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way. But I understood that he meant a great deal more than that. Gatsby, the man who gives his name to this story, represented everything for which I had an unaffected scorn. But if personality were an unbroken series of successful gestures, then there was something gorgeous about him. Some heightened sensitivity to the promises of life. He had an extraordinary gift for hope, a romantic readiness for which I've never seen in any other person before, and which it is likely I shall never see again.
Nick, darling, I'm paralyzed with happiness.
Hello, Daisy.
Nick Carraway, Miss Baker. Nick is my cousin.
Second cousin once removed.
He and Tom graduated Yale together.
Did you play football as well?
Oh, no. Tom was the football hero. I was more
Nick!
of this...
There you are!
Hello, Tom.
Hey, you care for a drink?
It's a little early for me. No thanks.
Hey, who needs a refresher?
Nick, I've been telling Jordan all about you.
So you found the place all right.
Hard to miss.
Hey, where are you staying?
Across the Sound.
West Egg?
Yeah, a little cottage I found.
Really?
What a strange community. On either side of me are these huge estates that must go for 12, 15,000 in the summer.
What are you paying?
80 a month.
Huh. Well, welcome to East Egg.
How long are you staying?
Until I make my fortune.
Well, Tom will help you. Won't you, darling?
I stopped off in Chicago on the way out, and almost half a dozen people sent their love.
Do they miss me?
The whole town's desolate. I mean, half the cars have their left rear wheel painted black as a morning wreath. And there is a persistent wail all along North Shore.
How gorgeous. Let's go back tomorrow, Tom. And you ought to see the baby.
Oh, I'd love to.
She's asleep now, but she's 2 years old. Haven't you ever seen her?
No, never, no.
Well, you ought to. She's...
What have you been doing these days, Nick?
Learn to be a bond man.
Who with?
Property trust.
Never heard of them.
Oh, well, you will.
Any money in bonds?
Everybody I know is doing it and making lots of money, that's for sure. See, after the war, the West became a little dull to me, and that's why I've come east. Father's financed me for a year.
Where are you from?
St. Paul. Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You'll be rich as Midas one day.
Yeah, about a dozen books on credit, banking, investment securities, really studying all the time, and I've really been trying to hone my...
Won't you, darling?
I'm stiff. Feel like I've been lying on that sofa for as long as I can remember.
Well, don't look at me. I've been trying to get you to New York all afternoon.
Yeah, this'll help.
It's prohibition.
So what?
Well, besides, I'm absolutely in training.
How you ever get anything done is beyond me.
Excuse me, I think I recognize you from somewhere.
You said you live across the Sound in West Egg. I know somebody there.
I don't know a single
Well,
person.
you must know Gatsby.
Gatsby? What Gatsby?
He's got the huge mansion that looks like an imitation of a French hotel.
The one with the tower.
Throws huge parties.
Yes, I live right next door to him. Our lawn's practically...
In 2 weeks, it'll be the longest day in the year. Do you ever watch for the longest day in the year and miss it? I always watch for the longest day in the year and miss it.
Well, we ought to plan something.
All right. What do we plan? What do people plan? Look, Tom, you heard it. I know you didn't mean to do it, but that's what I get for marrying a hulking physical...
I hate that word hulking, even a kidding.
Hulking, 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 hulking.
Have a drink, Nick.
All right, if you insist.
Got a nice place here.
Enormous. The sunken gardens
It
are...
belongs to the main, the oil man. Come on, I'll show you around.
Please don't take him away yet.
Come on, show you the ponies.
Please, Tom.
Anyways, you plan to stay in the East?
I'd be a goddamn fool to go anywhere else.
This is a permanent move.
They hated France.
All right. How long were you there?
About a year. Then we followed the polo circuit.
Drifting endlessly. Parties and yachts and hulking men hitting wooden balls with mallets.
You make me feel uncivilized.
Civilization's gone to pieces. I've become a terrible pessimist about things, Nick. Have you read this book, Rise of the Colored Empires by a man Goddard?
Why, no.
Oh, well, it's a fine book, and everybody ought to read it. The idea is that if we don't watch out, the white race, it will be utterly submerged. It's all scientific stuff. It's been proved.
Tom's getting very profound lately. He's reading deep books with long words in them. What was that word?
If we don't watch out, all these other races will have control of things.
We've got to beat them down.
The idea is that we're Nordics. I am, and you are, and we've all made these things that go to make civilization. Science, and art, and all that. Do you see? If you'll excuse me.
I love seeing you in my house, Nicky. You remind me of Rose, an absolute rose. Doesn't he, Jordan? An absolute rose. If you'll excuse me.
What is it you're in training for? This Mr. Gatsby you
Oh,
spoke-
quiet. I want to hear what happens.
Something happening?
You mean you don't know? Well, I thought everybody knew.
I'm afraid I don't.
Why, Tom's got some woman in New York.
Got some woman?
She might at least have the decency not to telephone him at home.
It couldn't be helped. I looked outdoors for a minute. It's very romantic outdoors. There's a nightingale singing on the lawn. Come over on the Canard or White Star Line. It's very romantic, isn't it, Tom?
Very romantic. Before you leave, Nick, I'd like to take you down to the stables. If you'll excuse me.
We don't know each other very well, Nick. Even if we are cousins, you didn't come to my wedding.
Look, I wasn't back from the war.
That is true, I'd forgotten. The war took a lot of good young men away. You see, I've had a pretty bad time, Nick, and I've gotten pretty cynical about a lot of things.
Yeah, I suppose she talks and, well, eats and everything.
Who?
Your daughter.
Pammy? Yes. Would you like to hear what I said when she was born, Nick? It'll show you how I've gotten to feel about things. Well, Pammy was less than an hour old, and Tom was God knows where with God knows who. I had just woken out of the ether with an utterly abandoned feeling. I asked the nurse right away if it was a boy or a girl. She said it was a girl, and so I turned my head, and I wept. I hope she'll be a fool. You see, that's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. You see, I think everything's terrible anyhow. The most sophisticated people think so, and I would know. I've been everywhere, done everything, seen everything. Sophisticated. God, I'm so sophisticated.
10 o'clock, time for this good girl to go to bed.
Jordan's playing a tournament over at Westchester tomorrow,
Oh, you're Jordan Baker, the golfer.
Good night. Wake me up at 8, won't you?
if you'll get up.
I will. Good night, Mr. Carraway. I'll see you anon.
In fact, come over often, Nick, and I'll sort of fling you two together, lock you up in linen closets, and push you out to sea in boats and all that sort of thing.
Good night. I haven't heard a word.
I knew I'd seen her somewhere before. I mean, I see pictures of her in the papers all the time. Golf championships at Palm Beach, Asheville. Wait, wasn't there a story
She's
about
a nice
her?
girl, but then I'll let her run around the country this way.
Who oughtn't to?
Her family.
Her family is one aunt about 1,000 years old. Besides, Nick will look after her, won't you, Nick?
I'm afraid rich girls don't marry poor boys.
Nonsense. Come over often. The home influence will be good for her.
Is she from New York?
From Louisville. Our girlhood was passed together there.
Did he give Nick a little heart-to-heart talk while he was on the phone?
Did I? I can't seem to remember. I'm sure we talked about the Nordic race. Yes. Must have crept up on us, next thing you know.
Hey, don't believe everything you hear, Nick.
Haven't heard a word. Well, good night, Tom. Good night, Daisy.
Good night, Nick. My dear sweet Nicky, good night, good night.
Yes, Gatsby turned out all right in the end. But you know, it's what preyed on Gatsby, what foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that's been haunting me and haunts me still.
Come on, I want you to meet my girl. She's a very fine lady. Oh, hello, Wilson. How's business?
Oh, I can't complain. Hey, when are you gonna sell me that car?
Next week, I got my man working on it right now.
Oh, your man works pretty slow, doesn't he?
No, in fact, he doesn't. If you feel that way, Wilson, I could sell my car somewhere else after all.
No, I don't mean that, Mr. Buchanan. I just mean that sometimes
Get
I
some
think...
chairs, why don't you? Somebody can sit down.
Okay, sure.
I try to teach him manners.
Myrtle, this is Nick Carraway. We went to Yale together.
How'd you do?
Hello,
I want to see you.
So,
Get on the next train.
what if I don't want to?
You want to.
What makes you so sure of that? Can you just walk in here and not have somebody around?
Just get on the next train.
Will you give me that dog you promised me?
I'll get you a whole brood.
You promise?
Woof woof.
Well, in that
Meet me at that apartment in an hour.
Mr. Buchanan, all I meant about the car was that I
See,
think...
me and Nick were just seeing the neighborhood. We gotta go.
Oh, sure. And how about that car?
I said I'll see about the car.
Yes, sir, Mr. Buchanan.
Terrible place, isn't it?
Where are we?
Queens. Hard to imagine people choose to live like this.
Awful.
Does her good to get away.
Look, Tom, doesn't her husband object?
Wilson, he's so dumb he doesn't know he's alive. He thinks Myrtle goes to New York to see her sister. Hurry up, will you? We don't have all day.
Most of these fellas will cheat you every time. All they think about is money. I had a woman up here last week to look at my feet, and when she gave me the bill, you'd have thought she had my appendicitis out.
I love your dress. I think it's adorable.
This? Oh, it's just an old thing. I slip it on sometimes. I don't care what I look like.
But it looks wonderful on you. Doesn't she look wonderful in
Oh.
that dress?
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Yes.
Do you like the apartment, Mr. Carraway?
Nice.
Tom bought it for me. Didn't you, Tom?
I'm tired of dancing. Drink with me, Nick.
I should really go home and study.
Oh, come on, there's plenty of time to make money. Come on. Drink up.
Oh, if Chester could only get you in that pose, I really think he could make something of it. Couldn't you, Chester?
I'm in the artistic game.
Oh, really?
Yes, Chester has photographed me 27 times.
I mean, 129, yes.
Come on, dance with me, Mr. Carraway.
You know, I'd love to change the light in here, to bring out your features. I'd like to get a hold of all of that hair.
You know, I think the lighting is just right. Shh.
Hey, Myrtle, we need some more ice and mineral water before anyone gets to sleep.
I told that boy about the ice. These people. You have to keep after them all the time.
You know, I've done some nice things out on Long Island. 2 of them are actually framed downstairs.
2 what?
2 studies. One I call Montauk Point, the Gulls. The other I call Montauk Point, the sea.
Where the hell is she?
Well, do you live down on Long Island too?
Yes, I live at West Egg.
Really?
Would we happen to know your place?
No, it's a small summer rental.
We were down there at a party about a month ago.
At a man named Gatsby's.
Do you know him?
Yes, I live right next door to him.
Really? Well, they say he's a nephew or cousin of Kaiser Wilhelm or was it von Hindenburg? Anyways, I'm scared of him. I'd hate for him to get anything on me.
You know, someone told me they thought he killed a man once.
I don't think it's so much that, or that he was a German spy during the war. You know, I met a man at the party, knew all about him, grew up with him.
Well, that's not right because he was on the American side during the war. You know, sometimes I look at him when he doesn't know I'm looking at him. And I bet he's killed a man. I bet it.
Well, they say he doesn't even live in that magnificent house of his, but he secretly floats up and down the Long Island shore. Chester! I think you could do something with him.
Stop it, Tom. You'll make me spill everything.
Neither of them can stand the person they're married to.
Can't they?
Can't stand them. What I say is, why go on living with someone if you can't stand them?
If I were them, I'd just get a divorce and get married to each other right away.
Doesn't she like Wilson either?
You try being married to a stupid, ambitionless bastard who smells like grease.
You see?
As soon as they can, they're both going out west.
It's really his wife that's keeping them apart. She's a Catholic, and they do not believe in divorce.
Hey, you leave Daisy out of this.
Daisy's not Catholic.
Well, she really ought to get away from her husband. They've been living over that garage for 11 years, and Tom's the first sweetie she ever had, so...
It was on the 2 little seats facing each other that are always the ones left on the train. I was going up to New York to see my sister and spend the night, and he had on a dress suit and patent leather shoes, and I could not keep my eyes off of him. But every time he looked at me, I had to pretend to be looking at the advertisement over his head.
What the hell are you doing?
What?
Get over here.
Shut up, I'm telling a story. When we got into the station, his white shirt front pressed up against my arm, and so I told him I'd have to call a policeman. But he knew I lied. I was so excited that when I got into a taxi with him, I didn't hardly know I wasn't getting into a subway train. All I kept thinking over and over was, you can't live forever. You can't live forever.
That's enough, Myrtle.
Oh, the great man speaks.
That's enough booze for one afternoon.
Where's that little dog you promised me? And I gotta make a list of all the things. I gotta get a massage and a wave, and Mrs. McKee, I'm gonna get you this dress as soon as I'm through with it. I gotta make a list of all the things I've gotta do. I gotta get one of those cute little ashtrays where you put spring in, and a wreath with a black silk bow from Mother's grave that'll last all summer. I gotta make a list so I don't forget all the things I gotta.
I really should get going
No,
here.
no, stay!
Yes, stay!
I mean, we live right downstairs. I could show you my portfolio if
I've
you'd
been
like.
drunk twice in my life, and this afternoon is the second time. I don't think Daisy would find it admirable.
Daisy! Daisy, Daisy, Daisy! Everybody talks about her like she's a goddamn saint.
Shut up, Myrtle!
Don't tell me to shut up. I'll say whatever I like.
I told you about using your name.
Daisy, Daisy, Daisy.
I mean it, Myrtle!
I'll say it whenever I like.
Okay, can we all just calm down?
It's okay, Myrtle. It's fine. It's fine. Just let it go.
Daisy, Daisy, Daisy! You bastard! You son of a bitch bastard!
Oddly enough, I began to like New York. And all the while, there was music from my neighbor's house. In his blue gardens, men and women came and went like moths among the stars and the whispering and the champagne. And then early one Saturday morning, a chauffeur crossed my lawn and handed me a surprisingly formal note. The honor would be Gatsby's, it said, if I would attend his little party that night.
Hey, your face is familiar. Weren't you in the 3rd Division during the war?
Why, yes, how did you... I was in the 9th Machine Gun Battalion, yes.
I thought so. See, I was in the 7th Infantry until June 1918. Miss it?
The war? Yes, I think I enjoyed it so much I came back home restless. It made going home pretty dull.
Well, I know what you mean. You know, I doubt most of the people here have any idea what it's like, being in the trenches.
It's not something you forget.
No, it's not. Where are you from?
Me, Saint. Minneapolis.
I know them well. Listen, I just got one of those new hydroplanes, and I thought I'd take it for a spin in the morning. Want to come with me, old sport? Just near the shore along the Sound.
What time?
Anytime that suits you best.
Yes. By the way, I'm Nick.
Mr. Caraway.
Hello, Miss Baker.
I thought you might be here. I remembered you live next door. Are you having a good time?
Well, you see, it's an unusual party for me. I mean, I've been here for hours and I haven't even seen the host. I live over there, and this man named Gatsby, he sent over a chauffeur this morning with an invitation of sorts.
I'm Gatsby.
I beg your pardon. I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Old sport. I'm afraid I haven't been a very good host.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's a phone call from Detroit.
Tell them I'll call later.
That may not be such a good idea.
Listen, if there's anything you need, just ask for it, old sport. I'll rejoin you two later. Said a small town, Meyer. A small town. If Detroit is his idea of a small town, he's of no use to us.
I feel like an idiot. Kept imagining Gatsby as fat, extravagant, and middle-aged. Who is he anyhow?
He's just a man named Gatsby.
Where is he from? I mean, what does he do?
Well, I haven't the faintest idea.
People just don't come out of nowhere and buy a palace on Long Island.
Well, Gatsby did.
He must have some sort of past.
And now you've started on the subject.
It's just everyone keeps talking about it.
Well, he told me once he was an Oxford man. However, I don't believe him.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't think he went there.
I've heard the wildest rumors about him.
Oh, what? That he killed someone?
Yes.
He's a German spy?
Yes.
That he runs an underground pipeline from Canada?
He does?
Anyhow, he gives large parties, and I like large parties. They're so intimate. Small parties, there isn't any privacy. Are you having a good time?
I'm having a good time with you.
Dance with me.
Of course.
You know, Daisy's very taken with you. She hasn't stopped talking about flinging us together.
Then she'd be very happy about tonight.
Are you in love with her?
Isn't everyone?
Well, yes. If I tell you something, do you promise to do something about it?
What do you mean?
Tom's woman in New York, she isn't the first. One night in Santa Barbara, California, right after he and Daisy got married, Tom ripped the front rail off his car. The girl who was with him got in the papers too because her arm was broken. She was one of the chambermaids at the hotel.
Why does Daisy put up with it? Why doesn't she just leave him?
Well, maybe you're the one meant to help her.
Miss Baker?
Yes?
Mr. Gatsby would like to speak with you, alone.
With me?
That's what he said.
All right, well, think about what I just told you, and please come and see me. Under the phone book, Mr. Gordy Howard.
She's a very famous person.
Yes, I know.
And Mr. Gatsby, too. He's a fine fellow, isn't he? Handsome to look at, and a perfect gentleman.
Yes.
He's an Oxford man.
Yes, so I've heard, yeah.
He went to Oxford College in England. You know Oxford College?
I've heard of it.
It's one of the most famous colleges in the world.
Have you known Mr. Gatsby for a long time?
Several years now. I made the pleasure of his acquaintance just after the war. I knew after talking with him just an hour that I met a man of fine breeding. I thought to myself, there's the type of man you'd like to take home to introduce to your mother and your sister. I see you're looking at my cuff buttons.
They look like ivory, that's all.
Finest specimens of human molars.
Oh, well, that's a very interesting idea.
Yeah. Oh, well, I better run off from you two young gentlemen before I outstay my welcome.
No need to hurry, Meyer.
Oh, you're very kind, Mr. Gatsby, but I belong to a different generation. Enjoy, discuss your young ladies, your politics. As for me, I won't impose myself upon you any longer. Good night.
I hope I didn't say anything to offend him. We were only just talking about cuff buttons.
Oh, she's quite the character around New York, you know, a denizen of Broadway.
Who is she anyhow? An actor?
No.
A dentist?
No, not Meyer Wolfsheim. She's a gambler. She's the woman who rigged the World Series. Back in 1919,
Rigged the World Series? How'd she do that?
she saw the opportunity.
Why isn't she in jail?
She's a smart woman. Smart people, they're hard to get. Listen, we're going up in that hydroplane tomorrow, right? 8 o'clock.
Look, Gatsby, I'm sorry for not recognizing you.
Don't worry about it. Don't give it another thought, old sport. 8 o'clock.
I'll see you there.
Good night, old sport.
Good night.
Good night, old sport.
Good night.
Daisy? Daisy? Daisy, where the hell are you? What are you doing down here?
Looking at the party lights.
You know how worried I go when you disappear like that?
Do you?
Of course I do. You know I do.
I want to go sometime. Dance again.
You don't want to associate with those people.
I just miss the parties.
I know you do. And we'll go back someday. But right now, Pammy needs you.
I'll be up in a minute.
No, I don't think you understood. Pammy needs you.
And I said, I'll be up in a minute.
Fine. Fine! Do as you like.
You mean like you?
Look, I don't know what's gotten into you lately, but forget it. Just come back before Pammy goes to bed.
It was so much nicer a long time ago, when it was just the two of us, and the space about the world was warm.
What a machine!
Fantastic! Thrilling, old sport! Thrilling!
Hey, I thought we'd go into New York later, maybe get some lunch.
Anything, I'm all yours for the day.
Listen, old sport, what's your opinion of me?
What?
I said, what's your opinion of me?
Only just met.
Well, be frank, old sport.
To be honest, I've heard a lot of rumors about you.
I thought so. You know, I'm going to tell you something about my life. I don't want you getting the wrong idea from all these rumors you hear. This is the God's honest truth. I'm the son of some very wealthy people from the Middle West, all dead now. I was brought up in America, but educated at Oxford. You see, my family's been educated there for many years. It's a family tradition.
Oh, what part of the Middle West?
San Francisco.
I see.
Well, my family died, and I came into a great deal of money. After that, I lived like a young Raja, visiting all the capitals of Europe, Venice, Paris, Rome, hunting big game, collecting jewelry, chiefly rubies, and painting a little just things for myself, and, well, trying to forget something very sad that happened long ago. Well, then came the war, old sport. You see, it was a great relief. I tried my very best to die, but I seemed to bear an enchanted life. I signed on as a lieutenant when it began, the Argonne Forest. Wow. Were you there?
That's St. Mihiel's Salient.
Well, this was near Sully. You see, I took 2 machine gun detachments so far forward, there was a half-a-mile gap on either side, where the infantry couldn't advance. Now, we waited for 2 days and 2 nights, 130 men with 16 Louis guns. And when the infantry came up at last, they found the insignia of 3 German divisions among the piles of the dead. And I was promoted to be a major, and I received a decoration from every Allied government. even Montenegro. Little Montenegro, down on the Adriatic Sea. There's the one for Montenegro. See what it says?
Ordere di Danilo. Montenegro Nicholas Rex.
Turn it over.
Major J. Gatsby for valor extraordinary.
Here's another thing I like to keep with me. A memory of Oxford days. Was taken on Trinity Quad. And that man on the left is now the Earl of Doncaster.
So it's all true.
Well, of course.
I didn't mean to say it like
Quite
that.
all right, old sport.
Why are you telling me all of this?
Well, you see, I'm going to make a big request of you today. And I just thought you ought to know something about my life. I didn't want you to think I was just some nobody.
So you planned all of this?
Well, I knew I could trust you. See, I usually find myself among strangers, because I wander here and there trying to forget that very sad thing that happened. Well, you're here all about it this afternoon.
Yes, at lunch.
Yes, but not with me, with Miss Baker.
Do you mean to tell me that you are in love with Miss Baker?
No, old sport, I'm not. But Miss Baker has kindly consented to speak with you on the matter.
I'm not sure I understand. Why don't you just tell me yourself?
It's just that it's a delicate matter, and I'd rather that Miss Baker be able to...
Hello,
explain
Nick.
it.
Hello, Tom. What are you doing here?
I ain't here all the time. Where have you been? Daisy's furious. We gotten called up.
This is Mr. Gatsby. Mr. Gatsby, Mr. Buchanan.
Sir? So what are you doing so far uptown to eat?
I'm just having lunch with Mr. Gatsby and Miss Baker.
You behave yourself with her. Listen, I'll be up at the apartment later. Stop by and see us. We'll have a drink. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some friends with me. Nice to meet you, sir.
He's married to my cousin, Daisy. They live right across the sound from you.
Yes, listen, I hope I haven't made you upset about this business with Miss Baker.
No, I just don't like mysteries, that's all,
Well,
Gatsby.
it's nothing underhand, I promise. Listen, you don't make very much money, do you?
No, not yet, no.
Well, if you'll pardon my... Look, I happen to own a little side business, a sideline, if you will, and I just thought if you don't make very much money, I might be able to offer you some
Hello, boys.
Ah, Miss Baker.
Hello, Jordan.
Nick J, did I interrupt something?
Oh, no. Come, sit. Well, thank you, Miss Baker. Thank you both. If you'll excuse me.
Is he always like this?
He knows what he wants.
Well, it's nice to see you again, Jordan, even under mysterious circumstances.
Not that mysterious, not really.
Look, what's going on?
You know Daisy and I grew up together?
Yes, she told me.
Daisy Faye, the most popular girl in Louisville. She wore all white and had a little red roadster, and all day long the telephone rang in her house.
If you behave yourselves, I'll spare each of you exactly 1 hour.
And excited young officers from Camp Taylor demanded the privilege of monopolizing her nights. Well, one night I'm walking by her house. This was 1917, and she was on the porch dancing with some lieutenant I'd never seen before. And they were so engrossed with each other that they didn't even notice me go by. Because it seemed so romantic to me at the time, I've remembered the incident ever since. His name was J. Gatsby.
Gatsby?
Why, Lieutenant Gatsby.
And I didn't lay eyes on him again for another 4 years. Even after I met him at one of his parties, I didn't realize it was the same man until the other night. Anyway, they became inseparable, promises were made, and then he left for the war. She changed after that, became distraught, withdrawn. I don't know what it was, something to do with her family, but once the war was over, she just up and suddenly married Tom Buchanan of Chicago. He arrived with an entourage and more pomp and circumstance than Louisville ever knew before. The day before their wedding, he gave her a string of pearls valued at $350,000. I was a bridesmaid. Well, half an hour before the bridal dinner, I wandered into her room one night and found her lying on the bed as lovely as a June night in spring in her flowered dress. And as drunk as a monkey. She had a bottle of champagne in one hand and a letter in the other.
Congratulate me, Jordan.
I was scared, I can tell you. I'd never seen a girl like that before.
Never had a drink before, but oh, how do I enjoy it.
I didn't know what to do. I locked the door and got her into a cold bath.
Here, dearest. Take him back. Take him back and give him to whoever they belong to. Tell him Daisy's changed her mind. You hear me? Daisy's changed her mind.
She wouldn't let go of that letter. She took it into the tub with her and squeezed it into a wet ball and only let me put it in the soap dish when she saw it was coming apart like fresh snow.
The dearest heart of all. Do you hear me? The dearest heart of all.
She didn't say another word after that. I gave her spirits of ammonia, put ice on her forehead, hooked her back into her dress, and an hour later we walked out of that room, the pearls around her neck, and it's been over.
What was in the letter?
It was from him.
Gatsby?
He was coming home from the war to marry her.
Then why did she marry?
Well, she heard the name Gatsby the first time, the day you first visited. Do you remember?
What a strange coincidence he's here.
Oh, but it isn't a coincidence at all, don't you see? Gatsby bought that house to be near Daisy, to be just across the bay from her.
Really?
He wants to know if you'll invite her over to your house one afternoon and let him come over as well.
So you mean to tell me he's waited over 5 years, even bought a mansion, so that he could come over to a stranger's cottage some afternoon to have a liaison?
Well, all this time he's half expected her to wander into one of his parties one night, but she never has. But that's why he gives them. He wants her to see his house, to see what he has created for her. And your house just happens to be right next door.
Incredible.
So will you do it?
Well, does Daisy want to see him?
Well, Daisy not to know about it. Gatsby doesn't want her to know. You're supposed to invite her to tea alone, of course.
Look, I'm not so sure I'm comfortable.
Well, Daisy ought to have something in her life, don't you think?
What about you? What if I invited you to tea? Would you come?
Ask me.
Have you got everything you need in the shape of tea?
All set.
Listen, I hope you're all right with this. I wouldn't want to do anything that's too out of the way.
Look, I'm fine. Fine. Would you like something while you wait?
No.
Oh,
God, it's raining.
I noticed.
I'm leaving.
What?
Look, nobody's coming to tea, all right? Daisy's not coming. I can't wait all day.
Ah, don't be silly. It's only 2 minutes till
You don't
4.
understand, old sport. I can't.
Stop.
Wait here.
See?
Is this absolutely where you live? My adorable, absolutely adorable. Are you in love with me? Is that why I had to come alone? Jay,
Hello, Daisy.
I'm glad to see you again.
We've met before.
We haven't met for many years.
5 years. Next November.
Jordan says you've been naughty with her.
Oh, have I?
See, I'm the perfect matchmaker, although I'm very angry with her. You see, she took my car out in the rain and left the top down, and it's ruined, absolutely ruined. At first, she lied about it, so you be careful with her, Nikki. She's incurably dishonest.
Well, if you both excuse me, I will head out.
Where are you going?
Just thought I could go get some tea and cake.
All right, I'll come with you. Oh, God.
What's the matter?
This is a mistake. A terrible, terrible
You're
mistake.
just embarrassed, and she is too.
She is?
Just as much as you are.
Does the suit look all right?
It's very nice.
What'll I do? What'll I say?
You're acting like a little boy. But you're being very rude. She's sitting there all alone. Go on.
I thought if we ever met again, it would be when we were old and decrepit. You're very handsome, Lieutenant Gatsby.
Oh, would you like to sit?
Yes. Did you know I would be here?
Yes, I arranged it. Here.
All of these me.
They're newspaper clippings from the last 5 years.
My debut. Chicago. Look at that silly hat. Even Europe.
He's a good polo player.
Yes, Tom has a knack for winning. Yeah, I tried to wait. Really, I did, but
Hey, look at this.
you look so handsome in your uniform. You never...
No.
I'm so sorry for all the hurt I've caused you. When we could have been so happy. I've missed you so much. I've never missed you as much as I do now.
Oh, hello, old sport.
It stopped raining.
Oh, has it? Would you look at that, Daisy? It stopped raining.
I'm glad, Jay.
Old sport, I'd like you and Daisy to come over to my house later. I'd like to show her around.
You sure you want me to come? I mean, it's all right.
Absolutely, old sport. My house looks well, doesn't it?
That big place over there?
Yes, see the way the whole front of it catches the light.
It's splendid, Jay.
It is splendid.
Well, it took me 3 years to earn the money that built it.
I thought you inherited all your money.
I did, old sport. I did. Do you like it?
I love it. I just can't see how you live there all by yourself.
Well, I keep it always full of interesting people. People who do interesting things. Celebrated people. There are music rooms and ballrooms and sunken baths and marble swimming pools and, of course, jonquils.
My favorite.
Hundreds, thousands of jonquils.
Jay.
I've even got a man in Europe. He sends me a selection of clothes at the start of every season, spring and fall.
They're such beautiful shirts. Makes me sad because I've never seen such beautiful shirts before. If only it were possible to reverse time. Just erase it. Erase and begin again. Do you think that's possible, Jay? You said you'd come back from no matter where you were, and here you are, gleaming like silver. And I said I'd be waiting. Remember? Yes. My hair was damp that night. And you, so handsome in your Brooks Brothers uniform, the garden smelling of pine forests and wisteria. You said you loved me. I thought you the sweetest person in the whole world. And the music. Music everywhere, filling the pine forest, spraying it with our future. We were gold and happy, weren't we? Gold and happy. And you trusted me with the dearest heart of all. That's more than anyone else in all the world could have ever asked for. These things excite me so, they excite me so. I've never met so many celebrities before. If at any point in the evening, Jay, you wish to kiss me, just let me know. Or present a green card. I'm giving out green tonight.
Are you having a good time?
We're here in your garden, Jay, your beautiful garden. I never thought it could be possible. Let's have someone look it up in the encyclopedia, under G. G for Gatsby. Where have you been?
Talking with those people over there.
She's common. If you want to take down any more addresses, here's my little gold pencil.
Who is this Gatsby anyhow?
They say he owns some drugstores. A lot of drugstores.
Yeah, right.
He built them up himself.
Probably some big bootlegger.
Be quiet. You're no reason for speaking like this.
Certainly must have strained himself to get this whole menagerie together.
At least they accomplish things, and they're more interesting than the people we see.
What's come over you? They're vulgar. Broadway riffraff. Look, I don't know how you talked me into this.
Let go of me.
I say, old
Look, I
sport.
don't know who the hell you are or what's been going on, but I'm sure as hell gonna find out. Getting a car.
Jay,
If it wasn't for the mist, we'd be able to see our house from right across the bay. You have a green light. It always burns at the end of your dock.
It burns for you, Jay. It's always burned for you.
Jay,
Just a minute, Meyer. Do you mean it? Do you really love me?
Yes.
And that's all that matters. I'm going to take care of everything. Just give me a minute.
I'm going to leave him
It's about time.
When?
when it can be arranged.
Are you sure?
In fact, I wanted to go, not tell Tom a thing. Do you think I'm making a mistake?
Daisy! Hey, Daisy, can you get in the car? I don't have all day.
I wouldn't ask too much for so soon. You know, you can't repeat the past.
Can't repeat the past. But of course you can. And this time I'm going to fix things. Just the way that they were always meant to be.
Almost 5 years he waited for her. 5 years. I mean, there must have been moments where Daisy tumbles short of his dreams, not through her own fault, but because of the colossal vitality of his illusion. It had gone beyond her, beyond everything. How could one mortal possibly live up to it? The king's daughter, the golden girl, an illusion. But no amount of fire or freshness can challenge what a man has stored up in his ghostly heart.
For lunch, Gatsby's coming too.
Is everything all right? I mean, I went over to his house earlier this morning. This man, straight out of a cops and robbers movie, comes up to me and says, "What do you want?" And I say, "Is Mr. Gatsby sick?" "Nope," he says, and slams the door right in my face.
Well, he's fired all the servants.
Why?
So there won't be any gossip. Those are Wolfsheim's relatives up there taking care of the place.
That isn't very discreet.
So?
You gotta be more careful, that's all.
You really are moral, aren't you?
It's not that. Look, what if Tom finds out?
Well, Daisy drove up there yesterday with her suitcases packed, ready to run off, but he wouldn't let her go.
So in other words, he's got her, but now he doesn't want her.
Of course he wants her. They love each other, but it has to be done right. He's looking for a sort of atonement, a renunciation of years lost.
But how can Daisy do that?
Well, he wants her to tell Tom that she never loved him. And she's promised to do it today, so come on, we don't want to miss the fun.
I'll drive.
Why?
Because you're a rotten driver.
I am not.
You nearly killed the workman the other night.
What workman?
The one you hit with your fender. I mean, either you ought to be more careful or you oughtn't to drive at all.
I am careful.
No, you're not.
Well, then other people are.
What's that got to do with anything?
They'll stay out of my way. Takes two to make an accident.
Suppose you met someone as careless as yourself?
Well, I hope I never do. I hate careless people. That's why I like you. Come on. Well, it certainly is hot.
Where's Mr. Thomas Buchanan, the athlete?
Rumor has it he's on telephone with his girl.
Mr. Gatsby. Glad to see you again. Nick, Jordan?
Make us a cold drink, please. You know how I love you.
Forget there's a lady present.
Well, then you kiss Nick, too.
What a low, vulgar girl.
When are you going to tell him?
Soon, I promise. Darling, don't look so sad. There's nothing more in the whole world than I want but your love. Come here, quick. You see that pink cloud over there? I want to put you in it and push you around. It would be amazing. Thank heaven, something cold to drink. What do we do with ourselves this afternoon? And the day after that? And the next 30 years?
Well, don't be morbid. Life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall.
But it's hot. So hot, and everything's so confused. Let's go to town. Why don't we go to town? Ah, you look so cool. Remind me of the man in the advertisement.
All right, let's go to town. What's the matter anyhow? Going to town? Let's get started.
We're just gonna go like this?
You wanted to go.
All right. It's too hot to fuss. Let's go, Jordan.
I don't see the idea of going to town. Women get these notions in their head and make a fool of themselves. Haven't you seen?
No one zipped me up. Can you zip me up?
I'll get some whiskey, you know.
I got the drink on me.
I can't say anything in his household sport.
She's got an indiscreet voice. I don't know what it is. It's almost like it's...
Her voice
full
is full of money.
Yes, that's it. Her voice is full of money.
Okay, we'll go to the plaza.
All right, and hire 5 bathrooms and take cold baths and drink mint juleps.
Oh, shall we go in my car?
I would have expected a chauffeur.
I prefer to do my own driving.
Are the gears standard?
Yes.
Well, then, how about you take my car and let me drive yours?
Oh, takes some getting used to.
I'm sure I can manage.
And you may need to pick up some gasoline.
Well, you know, if the car runs out of gasoline, stop at a drugstore. You can buy anything at a drugstore nowadays. Come on, Daisy. Taking Mr. Gatsby's circus wagon.
You take Nick and Jordan. We'll fall in the coupe.
Did you see that?
See what?
You think I'm pretty dumb, don't you? Perhaps I am. But I have an almost second sight. Tells me what to do sometimes. Made a little investigation into this fellow.
Yes, and you found he was an Oxford man.
Oxford man, he wears a pink suit.
He did go to Oxford.
Oxford?
Shut up.
New Mexico, maybe. Stopping for gas. Hey, Wilson, let's have some gas? Huh? What do you think we stop for, to admire the view?
I'm sick. I've been sick all day.
Hey, what's the matter?
No, I'm all run down.
Hey, well, do I have to do it myself?
Well, no, I need money pretty bad, Mr. Buchanan. That's why I've been bothering you about that car.
And how do you like this one?
Well, it's a nice yellow one.
Hey, pretty fancy, eh? Ever seen a car this fancy before?
No, sir, Mr. Buchanan.
Like to buy it?
Big chance, but I could make some money on the other car.
What do you want money for all of a sudden?
We've been here too long. We've got to get away. Myrtle and I, we want to go west.
Why is that woman staring at me?
She does?
Yeah, she's been talking about it for 10 years, and now she's saying whether she actually wants to go or not, but, you know, I'm going to get her out of here.
What do I do?
You know, I just got wised up to something real crazy the past few days. I got wised up real good. That's why.
What do I owe you?
See, I really need that car, Mr. Buchanan.
What do I owe you?
You owe me $1.20.
Keep the change.
And that car again.
I'll give you the car.
You will?
Yeah, I'll drop it off. Tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, okay. Thank
Well, this is a swell suite.
Open another window.
There aren't any more.
Well, then we better telephone for an axe.
Forget about the heat, Jesus. You make it 10 times worse crabbing about it, for Christ's sake.
Why not let alone, old sport? You're the one who wanted to come to town.
That's a great expression of yours, isn't it?
What is?
All this old sport business?
Now
Where'd
see
you
here,
pick
Tom.
that up, huh?
If you're gonna make any personal remarks, I won't stand for another minute.
By the way, Mr. Gatsby, I understand you're an Oxford man?
Not exactly.
Oh, yes, I understand you went there.
Yes, I went there.
When was this?
Like I told you, I went there.
And I heard you. But I'd like to know when.
Well, it was 1919. See, I only stayed for 6 months. That's why I can't exactly call myself an Oxford man.
Yeah. Right.
It was an opportunity they gave to some of the officers after the armistice. You could go to any of the universities in either England or France, and I chose Oxford.
Let's open the whiskey, Tom. I'll make you a drink. Maybe then you won't seem so stupid to yourself.
Wait a minute. I want to ask Mr. Gatsby one more question.
Go on.
What kind of a row are you trying to cause in my house?
He isn't causing a row, you're causing a row. Please have a little self-control.
Self-control. I suppose, you know, the latest thing is to let Mr. Nobody from nowhere make love to your wife. Well, if that's the idea, you can count me out. People nowadays laughing and sneering at family life and family institutions. And next they'll throw everything overboard. There'll be intermarriage between blacks and whites.
Good God, Tom.
Look, I know I'm not very popular. I don't invite every riffraff from Broadway in the picture shows. I suppose you make your house a pigsty in order to have any friends.
We can talk about my house later, old sport, when there are no ladies present. Now, what I wanted to tell you,
Please,
old sport...
please don't. Let's all go home. Why don't we all just go home?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Nobody wants to
I
drink,
want to know
Tom.
what Mr. Gatsby has to tell me.
Your wife never loved you, all right? She never loved you. She loves me.
That's nonsense.
She never loved you. She only married you because she was tired of waiting for me. It was a terrible mistake, but in her heart, she never loved anyone except for me.
Look, here, why don't
You're
we all
not
just
going
head back?
anywhere!
Yes, we are, Tom. Come on, Daisy.
You know, it's time someone's finally told you
Are
exactly
you going to lecture
what...
me on character, Jordan? Save yourself for that. Nick, has your girlfriend here told you about those tournaments at Asheville
Tom.
that she cheated to win? The great golf champion. Now, what exactly was it that you were going to tell me, Jordan?
Let's go, Daisy.
Sit down, Daisy!
Stop
Look
yelling
here,
at
Tom.
her.
I want to know what's been happening.
I told you what's been going on. It's been going on for 5 years, and you did not know.
You've been seeing this fella for 5 years?
No, not seeing. See, we couldn't meet, but both of us loved each other that whole time, old sport, and you never knew.
That's crazy. You know, I can't speak about what happened 5 years ago because I didn't know Daisy then. But I'd be damned how you got within a mile of her. Unless you brought the groceries to the back door. The rest of it's a goddamn lie. Daisy loved me when she married me. She loves me now.
No.
You're revolting.
She does, though. The trouble is, sometimes she gets these notions in her head. Makes a fool of herself. What's more, sometimes I do too. I go off on a spree, make a fool of myself as well. But I always come back. Don't I, Daisy? And in my heart, you know I love you all the time.
You disgust me. I'm surprised I didn't tell you why we left Chicago. The story of the spree of his in Santa Barbara and the Riviera.
Daisy, look, that's all over now. Just tell him the truth. Tell him that you never loved him and it's all wiped out forever.
Why, how could I love him? Possibly.
No, you never loved him.
I never loved him.
Not at Deauville?
No.
Not that day I carried you down from the punch bowl to keep your shoes dry, Daisy? Come on, Daisy.
Please stop. You want too much. Jay, I love you now. Isn't that enough? I did love you too, and I loved him once, but I love you now.
Wait, you loved him too?
Even that's a lie. Why, she thought you were dead. There's things between me and Daisy that you'll never know. Things that neither of us will ever forget.
I want to speak to Daisy alone now. You've got her all excited.
Even alone, I can't say I never loved Tom. It just wouldn't be true.
Of course it wouldn't.
As if it mattered to you.
See, it matters to me very much, Daisy, and I'm going to take better care of you from now on.
You don't understand. You're never going to take care of her ever again.
I'm not? Why is that?
Daisy's leaving you.
She's not leaving me. Certainly not for a common swindler who had to steal the ring he put on her finger.
Please, it's hot, so hot.
I'll take care of you.
Who are you anyhow? You're one of that bunch that hangs around with Mayor Wolfshine. That much I happen to know.
Come on, Daisy, let's go.
I made a little investigation into your affairs, Mr. Gatsby.
You can suit yourself about that, old sport.
I found out what your drugstores were.
What about them?
He and this Wolfshine bought up a lot of side street drugstores here in Chicago. Sold grain alcohol over the counter. That's just one of his little stunts. I picked you for a bootlegger, and I wasn't far wrong.
You know, it's prohibition. Nobody cares, old sport. And where do you get your boost from?
Stop calling me old sport! All this drugstore business is just small change. There's something on now that everyone's afraid to tell me about. Something to do with Wolfshine. Something real big. But I'll find out about it. Yeah, I'll find out about it. Yeah, you can bet your ass about that, old sport.
Are you going to kill me, old sport?
Please, I can't stand this anymore.
My car keys, please. If you'll excuse me.
I'll have them. Leave me alone. Want any of this stuff, Jordan? Nick? Nick?
What?
You want any of this stuff?
No.
What the hell's the matter with you?
You know, I just realized today's my birthday. I'm 30. 30 years old. I was 30, and before me stretched the menacing road of a new decade. You see, it was 7 o'clock when we finally got into the coupe and headed to Long Island. Tom talked incessantly, exulting and laughing as if he'd won a football match. Human sympathy has its limits. Beside me, her head on my shoulder, Jordan nestled close. But I didn't know her anymore. 30. The promise of a decade of loneliness. A thinning list of single men to know, a thinning briefcase of enthusiasm, thinning hair. So we go on, towards death through the cooling twilight.
You can fool me, but you can't fool God.
What are you doing, George?
His wife's man. That's what they say, his wife's man. You think I don't hear that, Myrtle? No more, Myrtle. No more.
George, what are you doing with my clothes?
We're leaving. Day after tomorrow. As soon as I sell that car.
You're crazy.
I found this hidden in the bureau, Myrtle.
You got no right.
You think I'm stupid, Myrtle?
It's for my sister, for her dog.
You think I'm stupid because all I own is the garage.
Oh, George,
I got things figured out, Myrtle. I ain't stupid.
I never said.
You coming back with your face all busted up?
It ain't right what you're doing.
Something's not right, that's for sure.
Give me back my clothes, George. You got no right. I hate you. I made it every minute with you. What are you gonna do? Beat me? You gonna beat me, George?
Sorry, Myrtle. I think I just need more
Shut
time.
up. Shut up, shut up. I can't stand your voice. It's like a slug crawling in the dirt. I should have left you a long time ago.
Don't leave me, Myrtle. I'm getting the money, just like I
Come
promised.
back.
Who's coming?
Oh my God, he's
Myrtle.
come back for me. Wait,
Myrtle.
wait.
Myrtle! Hey, Myrtle! Myrtle!
M-I-C-A...
No, M-I-C-H...
H-A?
A-E...
What's going on here?
L...
Will you listen to me?
What do you want, fella?
I want to know what's happened.
Auto hit her, instantly killed.
What?
She ran out in the road.
Instantly killed.
Son of a bitch didn't even stop the car.
Well, there was two cars, one coming and one going, see?
Going where?
Which direction?
Okay, hold on a minute here.
There was two cars. Well, she ran out in the road with her arms up and she was screaming crazy at him, shouting, "Beat me, throw me down and beat me." But I'm going, and then the one from New York knocked right into her. It must have been going 30 or 40 miles an hour.
And what's your relation to him?
I own the diner up the road. It was a yellow car. It was
Oh,
big and new.
you don't need to tell me what kind of car it was. I know what kind of car it was.
Listen to me. You've got to pull yourself together. Wilson, are you listening to me? Remember that car we've been talking about? Listen. The one that I was taking this afternoon.
What's
wasn't
going on
mine.
over there, huh?
Belongs to someone else. I haven't seen it all afternoon. I borrowed it. Will you keep this as...
What's going on?
I'm a friend of his. He says he knows the car that did it. It was a yellow car.
And what color's your car,
It's
huh?
a blue car, a coupe.
He's telling the truth, okay? We were on our way from New York when we had... See, we were on our way to West Tech when we had seen that something had happened, so we stopped. That's all.
Okay, if we can clear this area, and if I can get your name one more time correctly.
Goddamn coward didn't even stop his car.
Daisy, wait!
Please let go of me. I need to get inside.
It's all right. Everything's going to be all right.
It's ruined, don't you see?
It's going to be fine. I promise you.
Everything's so confused.
Hey, Daisy. Hey, this is all my fault. Hey, look at me. Look, none of this would have ever happened if I just handled things right the first time. But I'm taking care of it now.
I just wanted it to be beautiful.
Do you believe that I love you, Daisy? Daisy, look at me. Do you believe that I love you?
Yes.
Look, what was said back at the hotel, it doesn't mean anything, right? Tom, he was pressuring you, making you say things you didn't mean, upsetting you.
I'm no good for you, Jay.
You are the finest, loveliest, tenderest, most beautiful person I've ever known.
But what if...
Look, it's going to be all right, okay? I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to wait out here, and I want you to go inside. We'll see if he tries to do anything. If he does, I want you to turn that light on and off.
He won't hurt me.
I don't trust him. I'm going to wait out here just in case.
How long will you wait?
All night if you want. My whole life if necessary.
Do you really love me that much?
Yes.
But what'll I say? You know how I am. I'll ruin everything.
Tom, he knows you're upset. It's okay to be upset. Just don't let him talk you into anything. Don't say anything. Just give me some time to set things up, and then we'll go away like we planned. As soon as I know you're safe here tonight, I'll wait for your call back at home. Our love is all that matters. Go to Louisville and get married and have the life we were always meant to have.
That's all I ever wanted.
You asked me if we could erase time. And the answer is yes. I'm erasing it. Now, here, the past is erased forever. And it's only you and me.
Oh my God, Jay, he's home.
Look, it's going to be all right, okay? I'll wait out here to see if he tries to do anything. Nobody's ever going to hurt you again. Call me. I'll wait for your call.
I ought to have dropped you off in West Egg, Nick. There's nothing we can do tonight. Telephone for a taxi to take you guys both home. And while you're waiting, better get yourself some supper. If you want any, come in.
No thanks, but I'd be glad if you ordered me a taxi. I'll wait outside.
Well, Daisy's home. Goodbye then, Nick. Come by tomorrow.
Are you sure you won't come in, Nick?
No thanks.
Well, it's only 9:30. We may as well make the best of it.
Is it true?
Is what true?
What Tom said, the scandal about your tournament.
What's that got to do with anything?
They say you moved your ball from a bad lie, Jordan, that's how you
Yeah,
won.
and people say all sorts of things when you're famous.
I read about it, Jordan. The caddy retracted his statement. Did you pay him off?
Nick, you are one of the few honest people I know. It's why I like you. Please, come on in.
Goodbye, Jordan.
Goodbye. Just like that, you're throwing me over?
I just need some time to think.
Yes, sir, you're throwing me over for a rumor.
I just need to go home.
Fine. You know what? Be a coward. Run away. You know, I never gave a damn about you anyway. But at least it was a new kind of experience. Do you remember that conversation we had earlier? The one about driving the car?
What about it?
Well, you said a bad driver was only a bad driver until she met another bad driver. Well, I guess I met another bad driver, didn't I? I mean, it's careless of me to make such a wrong guess. And I thought you were different, Nick. I thought you were a rather honest, straightforward person. I thought it was your secret pride.
I'm 30, Jordan. 30. I'm 5 years too old to lie to myself and call it honor.
Goodbye, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Jesus, what are you doing
I'm
here?
just standing here, old sport. Look, did you see any trouble on the road?
Yes?
Was she killed?
Yes?
Look, I thought so. I told Daisy I thought so. It's better that all the shock should come at once. Like, she stood it pretty well. We got to West Egg by a side road. I left the car in my garage. I don't think anyone saw us, but of course I can't be sure. Who is the woman?
Her name was Wilson. Her husband owns the garage. Look what the hell happened.
Look, I took the wheel from Daisy and I tried to steer it.
Daisy was driving the car?
Yes,
oh, I just assumed Gatsby you'd be smarter than that.
When we left New York, she was very nervous. She thought it would steady her to drive. Look, just as we were passing this car coming the other way, this woman just rushes out at us. I didn't know who she was, but it seemed to me as though she wanted to speak to us. Like she thought we were somebody she knew. Well, anyways, Daisy turned away from the woman towards the other car, but look, then she lost her nerve and turned back. As soon as my hand hit the wheel, I felt the shock. God, it must have killed her instantly.
It ripped her open,
Look,
for Christ's sake. Why didn't you stop? Get some help.
Because Daisy stepped on it. I pulled the emergency brake. I did, but look, then she fell over onto my lap and she has to be taken home.
Gatsby, you've got to go to the police.
No, I can't do that.
Tell them it was
I'm
an
going
accident.
to fix everything.
But everyone saw the car. There are eyewitnesses, Gatsby. We'll trace it back to you. You can't hide a car like that. They'll find out that Daisy was driving the car.
I won't let that happen, and neither will you. Look, I'm just going to wait here and see if he tries to do anything.
That's my car. Now you better come home with me.
I'm going to wait here until Daisy goes to bed.
Gatsby,
Good night, old sport.
I don't understand you people.
George, could I get you a cup of coffee? Come on. You know it would do you some good.
No, I have a way of finding out about that car. The yellow one, who it belongs to. See, a couple of weeks ago, she came back from the city. Her face was bruised. Her nose was swollen. Oh, my God. He killed her.
Who did?
I have a way of finding out.
This has been a strain to you, and you just don't know what you're saying.
He murdered her.
It was an accident, George.
No. I'm one of these trusting fellas. I don't think any harm to no one. But when I get to know a thing, I know it. It was the man in that car. She ran out to speak to him, and he just wouldn't stop.
But how could she have been like that?
Well, she's a deep one.
Well, maybe you got some friend I could telephone.
No, I
just to get
spoke
you
to
home?
her. I told her she may fool me, but she couldn't fool God. I took her to the window, and that's when I said, God knows what you've been doing. Everything you've been doing. You can fool me, but you can't fool God. God sees everything.
Nothing happened. I waited, and about 4 o'clock, she comes up to the window. She stands there for just a minute. And then she turned around and went back inside, and she turned out the light.
Look, Gatsby, you've got to get away. Atlantic City for a week or up to Montreal.
Look, I can't do that. I couldn't possibly leave Daisy again.
Look, why won't you listen to me?
Look, I owe you an apology.
I don't care about that,
I owe you an
Gatsby.
apology for some of the lies. James Gatz. Yeah, that's my real, or at least legally my name. We're cousins, Nick, you and I. We're both boys out of the West who've come to the East to make their fortunes. Oh, my parents, they were potato farmers up in North Dakota. Good people, honest, but poor. So I invented the sort of J. Gatsby that a 17-year-old might be likely to invent in it. Well, I came here. And that's when I met Daisy. Of course I expected her to throw me over. I mean, what did I have to offer? Just some poor farm boy. But she didn't. Because she was in love with me, is in love with me. And now I have her back. And you know, this time I'm really going to make things the way that they always should have been.
Thank you.
For what?
12 minutes to my train. I've already missed 3 today. I guess I really just don't want to go to work today. I'll call you up.
Want to know something funny? I haven't used that pool all summer.
Gatsby, I really wish you'd leave town for a few days.
I know, Nick. Look, you've been a good friend, and I appreciate it.
I'll call you up about noon.
Well, Daisy will call soon, don't you think?
I suppose so.
I mean, after all, we made promises to each other.
Yes.
Well then, goodbye. Goodbye, old sport.
They're a rotten crowd, Gatsby. You're worth the whole damn bunch put together. I remember the rest of that day and that night and the next day only as an endless drill of policemen and photographers and newspapermen. Most of the reports about Gatsby were a nightmare, grotesque, circumstantial, eager, and simply untrue. I found myself on Gatsby's side, but I I had found myself alone. Nobody else cared. No one. I mean, where were all the party people now? Daisy to see how she was taking it, but she and Tom had gone away that afternoon, no return address. I wanted to get somebody for him. I wanted him to know that somebody cared. I went over to his room where he lay to reassure him. I'll get somebody for you, Gatsby. I'll get somebody for you. Don't you worry. Just trust me and I'll get somebody for you.
I can't do it. I can't get mixed up in it.
But you were his only friend.
I raised him out of nothing, out of the gutter.
The funeral is this afternoon.
I'd like to come.
Then come!
I can't! When a man gets killed, I never like to get mixed up in it. I keep out.
He'd have wanted you there.
Mr. Carraway, let us show our friendship for a man, our affection, when he is alive, and not when he is dead.
The day of the funeral, nobody came. Daisy never even sent a message, not even a flower. One afternoon late in October, I was walking on Fifth Avenue when I had spotted Tom and Daisy walking right ahead of me. Just as I slowed to avoid overtaking them, he saw me.
Nick! Daisy, look, it's Nick! What? You object coming up to shake hands with me?
Yes? You know what I think of you.
You're crazy, Nick. Crazy as hell. I don't know what's the matter with you.
What did you say to Wilson?
I told him the truth. Came to the house while we were getting ready to leave. He was crazy enough to kill me. If I hadn't told him who owned the car. His hand was on his pocket, his revolver, the whole time. What if I did tell him? Gatsby had it coming. He ran over Merle like you run her over a dog. Didn't even stop his car.
You're always my favorite cousin, Nick.
You're careless people. You smash up things and creatures, and then you retreat back into your money, or your vast carelessness, or whatever it is that keeps you two together. And then you make other people clean up for the mess that you've made. After Gatsby's death, the East became haunted to me, distorted. You see, it was time to go back home, back west where the blue smoke of the brittle leaves stir in the air and the wind blows the lawn stiff on the line. As I brooded on all of this, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn and this huge failure house, and his tree must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. You know, Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes us. But that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch our arms out farther. Until one fine morning, so we beat on. Boats against the currents, borne back ceaselessly into the past.